What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups. In this video we are talking about how GameStop is being shady yet again with their Nintendo Switch bundles. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so we all know that the coronavirus has been going around and people are wanting to stay in and play video games, and that translates to people wanting the Nintendo Switch, which is an awesome system and is great for being at home or on the go, but it's been hard to find them. They've been selling out in places and people just kind of don't want to give them up if they have them, and you're not really able to really find them as easily as you were before the coronavirus. So what does that mean? GameStop has been doing some shady stuff, and I want to talk about that in this video. Now, if you've watched this channel or seen any of my videos, I oftentimes like to talk about GameStop because it is a store that is right in the middle of everyone for the most part when it comes to video games. You've got stores like Walmart and Best Buy that are only selling brand new games, and then you have like smaller used mom and pop shops that sell some stuff but don't just sell everything, and then you've got GameStop kind of in the middle where they're selling the new stuff, they're selling the old stuff, and they're just kind of in the middle of all the stuff going around, which is why I think they're an integral part of the kind of the ecosystem of video games whenever it's in retail, at least. So I like to talk about GameStop, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. And people love to hate GameStop, and occasionally people think I hate on GameStop, but that is not the case always. Now, I do say good things about GameStop. You can look back about older videos or other videos, but I also say bad things. I'm not afraid to say bad things or good things about GameStop. They are my opinions, and I just want you to know that yes, sometimes they're negative, but sometimes they're positive. It just depends on the topic. And this video is on the negative side. And GameStop has been known for having people be more negative towards them because of how it's easy to hate on them. But at the same time, hating on GameStop is just kind of one of those things that people talk about, and then more people hate on GameStop, and it just kind of becomes like this snowball effect, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And so I want to say GameStop has some good things, but they also have some bad things, but today's video is about the bad things, and that is how they're being shady with these Nintendo Switch Lite bundles on their website. Now, as you know, all GameStops are closed. You can only order on their online, and you can either have them direct delivery at the door, you can go and pick it up at the store, or you can have it delivered to your house. Now, what I noticed a few days ago, and it's been updated just a little bit, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but a few days ago I was looking on GameStop's website, and I noticed that all the Switches were sold out. I went to their website, I was looking at the original Switches and the Switch Lites, and I was going through, and every single console was sold out, and I was like, maybe they don't have any. And then I realized, well, let's go to just the Switch page on its own, not the actual consoles. And then I saw that there were Switch Lite bundles. And basically these bundles were them selling a bundle and a game for the price of a bundle and a game. And I was like, so they're just charging you what it costs to bundle. Oh, okay. And I noticed that, and I was like, surely they don't have these in stock. They don't have the normal consoles in stock. And then I looked. Sure enough, they had every single different one. They had the gray, they had the turquoise, they had the coral, they had the yellow. They had all of those in stock with the bundles, but when I went over to the regular consoles, they did not have any of those in stock. Now fast forward to today when I'm making this video. It is Wednesday. This video is going up on Thursday. I was looking on Monday night and none of them were there. Now I looked again today, and I realized that some of them are in stock, so I wanted you guys to know that some of those colors are in stock, but not all of them, so it's still sketchy that they're still doing this. There were, I believe, the coral ones, and I want to say the gray ones maybe were out of stock for the consoles, but then on the actual bundles, you could buy them with, say, Mario Kart 8 or whatever game they attached to it. And I think that is a shady business deal for GameStop. They're saying, you can't buy a Nintendo Switch Lite from us unless you spend an extra $60. Now, don't get me wrong, you're gonna want to buy games, but you don't want to be forced into buying games or this crappy case or an SD card that's worth 3 times less than what they are offering it to you for. Like, I saw those memory cards and I was like, whoa, I could just go on Amazon and have it delivered to my house for half that price. So, I digress. But this is a shady business process, or I guess a way of selling things for GameStop. And it's not the first time they've done this. Now, I go back to when the SNES Classic was released. I noticed you couldn't buy the SNES Classic without getting one of those yoke controllers or getting something else with it, whether it's like a statue or some artwork or something like that. That way it charged the price up. Those things, I believe, were $80 if I remember correctly, and they were like selling for like $120, $150, $200 bundles with the SNES Classic and like added junk on, basically. More stuff for you to spend money on. And what they were doing was basically saying, hey, you can't buy this console, but we have bundles. And here we are, what is it, a year and a half, 2 years later, and they're still doing that exact same thing. And I have a problem with this, and I don't think it's illegal or anything like that, but I do think it's like a moral obligation is to not screw over your customers. Like, everyone knows customers are always right. It's not always the case, but for the most part, you want to treat your customers with respect and you want to take care of them. You want them to return their business so you can make more money. And that's not what GameStop is doing here. And I think this is something that someone should have stopped them. Someone on their team should have said, hey, whoa, stop. Why are we doing this? It's just causing people to get more pissed off at us and less people buy consoles. If they had the consoles on their website, they would probably sell those consoles, and then people would be buying more games because they have the console and everything like that. But forcing them to buy this bundle with the console and the game that GameStop decides for you is kind of not fun, and no one really wants that. And so, I know this video kind of could seem like a rant video, but I wanted to talk about this because that sucks. Like, as a gamer, and how GameStop used to say power to the players, I feel like they're taking all the power away from you and dictating what you can play. I mean, realistically, if you only have, say, $250 and you go out and buy one of these bundles, and it's $260, but you get the deal. They force you into buying the exact game that is in the bundle so you can get a Switch Lite, and that's not right. At least I think it's not. So, I've got a big problem with this, and I think it's shady because GameStop just hasn't been doing a good thing with any of their stuff lately. Like, these are practices that they were doing 2 years ago, and if you go back, I actually have a video on the channel, I don't remember when I posted it. It was around the time the Super Nintendo Classic came out, where I was literally doing basically the same exact video for a different product that was limited or hard to find. So here we are, fast forward to 2020, and GameStop is basically trying to profit off the coronavirus and the desire to own a Nintendo Switch Lite. So, what is the deal here? I looked on their website as well for the original console, just the Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Cons, and they didn't have any in stock. Now, they did have some of the bundles. All of the bundles were in stock, actually, which is miraculous. And then a few of the other Switch Lites were there. I don't think all of them were there. I know the Coral one was missing, and there was one other. I can't remember if it was the yellow or the gray one. There was one other that was missing. And I just find that as a disappointment. I feel like that's something that GameStop should be doing better at. And I feel like they're just being lazy and trying to get as much money as they can because they're going out of business. And I feel like this coronavirus might be the downfall of GameStop, and maybe I'll talk about that here in the future, not right now, but that is something that I find is a hard thing to deal with, and honestly, it seems like GameStop really doesn't care about the customers. All they care about is bringing that extra money in, and if screwing the customers out of something they want, they kind of just don't care anymore. So I wanted to talk about this just a little bit because honestly, this really sucks, and I feel bad for those people that didn't have a Nintendo Switch and they wanted one, that are now forced to, I guess forced isn't the right word, but if you go to GameStop and you don't know that you can find it other places, you're kind of forced into buying that system with another game or a case or any kind of accessory. So I have a problem with that right there. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Comment down below and let me know what you think about this. Now, this is an annoying thing for me, honestly, to be talking about, but GameStop is being shady yet again, and